This is the 2025 Preservationist of the Year reception. And my name is Evan Anderson. I'm the current chair of the Historic Preservation Board of Martin County. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So a little bit about the Preservation Board. We were put together, assembled more or less by the Board of County Commissioners 2003. And we're a board of volunteers, really. We're appointed to this position because we care about preserving the history that we have in Martin County. And we work to encourage people, not to create rules and problems for anybody, but we work to encourage people to save the past so that the future can enjoy it. We all care very passionately about this. Our commissioners do as well. And through their allowing us to operate, and they actually fund a budget for us, we're able to operate, and we're able to save buildings like Joad, you're gonna have to tell me how many do we have on our list now? Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, it's many, and many of them you get to enjoy. Salerno Colored School. We have the Mansion at Tuckahoe, and many others. Some of those we're going to be celebrating this month as well. This is Historic Preservation Month, and so we have a list of activities that have already been going on and are going to continue to go on through the month of May. Some have already happened and expired, but there are a few things left. This is one of them, and we're happy to be here to enjoy this event with you. So hopefully I don't mess this up too much. I get a little nervous with these things. I'm a builder by trade, so my background's in architecture. I'm a home builder, and so this is what I do for a living. I get to find and restore old buildings. I really love it. It's my passion. And through my activity, my own purchases of buildings and restoration of them, and encouraging others. And so I get to work with the community. I get to work with my neighbors. I get to set an example for them. And so I know a lot of you try to do the same things, in your lives, whether it's just trying to save things and, create interest in saving old buildings, or personally, if you want to invest in an old building and restore it. That's usually the best way to do it, because the county can only do so much to fund these historic projects because you all pay for it. And so it's always a hard conversation. I would like to introduce Ed Campy to welcome some of our partners in preservation that I haven't already mentioned to the event, if you're prepared to do so. Otherwise, I would like to have you come up and give your speech.
I have no idea about introducing our partners in preservation. Let me just say this. Today, in my mind, we're celebrating two things. We're celebrating a few things. We're celebrating Historic Preservation Month, which when I first came onto the board, I joined the Historic Preservation Board, and I've heard some people discussing it. We had 3 or 4 or 5 events, and we were glad to have them. 6 events, and that was a lot of planning involved in 6 events, and then it's grown remarkably. I have a passion, like everyone that's here, for history. I love American history. I love world history. I have had the beautiful blessing of traveling all over the world for my job, not my commission job, my other job. And wherever I go, I always go. And, I've been in Anne Frank's apartment. I've been in Nelson Mandela's jail cell. And so I love it. And then you come back home to a place where we can preserve and protect our history. And it's our duty. And I know I'm preaching to the choir in here, but we all have to go out and preach to the people that either don't know or don't think we need to. Preserve what we have, because when it's gone forever. So even, I see some of my Palm City friends, even when the Blasco house that Commissioner DiTerlizzi had moved to Map Road in an effort to save it, But it sort of got lost and forgotten. And then when we were talking about redoing that area, well, they said, we'll just tear it down. Well, first off, Mabel Witham was still alive. We're not tearing her house down. So what we were able to do, Rick Mansell, who many of you know, he says, what's going to happen with that? And meanwhile, tearing it down was like $50,000 to tear it down. So he says, no, I know my parents and I knew that house and the whole thing. And he paid with his own money to relocate it onto his property, and we saved it. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of effort, but it's so important to do that. So Historic Preservation Month. Now, of course, all of you know, we're also celebrating our 100th anniversary of our county. We celebrated Palm City's. Several years ago, we celebrated Palm City's 100th birthday, which was also very exciting. But for me, the most important thing we're doing today is honoring my dear friend, Sadia. I met Sadia when I first came into office in 2008, and all of you that know her, she comes off that first impression. She's quiet, sort of grandmotherly. She's a sweet woman. She, as you know, she is a force to be reckoned with. And when she has a plan, which she does, you get on board with that plan. Now, I'll tell you, it was about the Golden Gate, and other people will talk about it. But the first time I ever got a chance to go into it, from the outside, it looked fine. But inside, it was empty, gutted, and had a dirt floor. And she says, oh no, we have a vision. We're going to save this. She has a secret weapon. He happens to be sitting next to her. Her beautiful, loving husband, Chris. Now, if you're a spouse for a powerful, driven, focused woman in this case, you know what it is. You're either going along or you're never going to see her. And Chris just quietly went along. The two of them have done so much for Golden Gate, not just the community, the people that live there, whether they knew them or not. I've had meals in her home, Moroccan food that I wouldn't have tried on a bet. But when Sadia puts it down in front of you and stares at you, you eat it up with a smile. And so I know her professionally that way. And over the years have come to think of her as a member of my own family. And I'm sure like I have, like many of you, you'll get a text message or an email. My dear Ed, God bless your beautiful family. Please tell your mom and dad how much I care about them. This is a woman who's just remarkable. Absolutely. Even today, she goes, don't forget to invite your mother and father. Don't forget to invite Sarah. So Sarah Campy. And so because of that, I just feel such a special bond. And when we heard, I think Preservationist of the Year is one of the highest awards you can achieve in the community that you live in. And the people that I know have won it have all deserved it. So whoever's on the selection committee, you're picking the perfect person each year. And luckily for all of us, we have a lot of people to pick. But this year's choice is absolutely remarkable. So that's all I wanted to say. I love you and I thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. Rob, Mr. Steele, if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rob Steele. It's been my great honor and pleasure to serve as the president and CEO of the Historical Society of Martin County for the past 6 years. Thank you. We've put a lot of water under the bridge in those 6 years, but what happened in the first week or two is we changed our logo. You can see it in about 100 places around this building. And we brought back the Historical Society of Martin County as the centerpiece, the umbrella under which the Elliott Museum and the House of Refuge Museum reside. And it's a balancing act. When I arrived here, our budget was, I'm going to just be honest with you and tell you, it was upside down and we were hanging on by our fingernails. And I thought we need to turn this around by being both commercially successful and serving as a historical society, listening to the people of the community and becoming the best value we possibly could be. So 6 years later, we're standing on stable ground. We feel really great about the work we're doing. And we're coming into a position where we can do more and more to help in our historic preservation efforts and fulfill our commitment to be the Historical Society of Martin County. Two people that I want to introduce to everyone right now because they're such a big part of that mission. I'm a fussy guy, and it's taken me, I've been through 4 keepers of the house and 4 curators at this museum since I arrived, and I finally have the 2 people, the 1-2 punch, that are going to really elevate our status and help us fulfill our role as historic preservationists. The first one is Jess Robinson, who is our creative and collections director. Many of you have met her already. Her energy is remarkable, and she's making friends with all the right people in the community. And she's here to serve all of you in our effort as a team to pull together and make things better and preserve our history the way it should be. The second person I want you to meet is Catherine Larson, our keeper of the house at the House of Refuge. A Sewell's Point resident. She's brought remarkable energy and professionalism to this post, and we're about to close the House of Refuge for 5 or 6 months of renovation. Thanks to the generosity of Martin County, we'll be opening up an endeavor. Thank you. It's a $1.7 million renovation of the House of Refuge. We haven't done anything like this for 50 years, and it'll be done in time, 2026, to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the House of Refuge as the most iconic, most historic piece on the eastern seaboard of Florida. So we're really thrilled about that. And the second thing I want to talk to you briefly about is the digitization process in Martin County. We're coming to a crossroads now. We have a big meeting on June 6th. There were some grants put together, and I've watched these projects come and go throughout my career. I'm a lot older than I look standing up here, and I've seen a lot of these things happen, but I've never seen a project be handled so efficiently and so effectively and so powerfully. There's just so much that has happened in this project, and it would be an awful loss to the community to see it fall by the wayside. And I'm not asking for municipal support to make it all happen. It was made possible through some federal grants and lots of other ways. So let's just be creative as people to make sure that we can continue on this great work. And I just asked Jess a few minutes ago to bring something in. So I like visual aids. Ever since I've been in elementary school, I always liked the visual aids. So let me just show you something. This came to us just a couple of days ago. We're revamping our Grumman exhibit upstairs in the museum in the transportation hall. And this is a box that was used to deliver turkeys during the Grumman annual Thanksgiving employee turkey delivery cycle. And it's loaded. I mean, I'm a strong guy for an old guy to be able to lift this thing up here, but it's loaded with clippings and yearbooks that have births and deaths and marriages and calendars and lots of other things. And when I looked at this morning, I thought, those are all documents that should be digitized. Those are all things that should be available for future generations to access, for other museums on the Treasure Coast, other museums in Florida to be able to look at and see what's happening. It's incredibly interesting stuff. I challenge any of you not to look through this for 5 or 10 minutes and be moved by what's here. So this is a great time for this historic preservation community. And I know a lot of you in the room and love and respect you. Let's circle our wagons and make sure we can continue the great work that has started tonight. It does great honor to all our historic preservationists of the year when we show the respect that's deserved and take care of our history and traditions. So that's my heartfelt appeal on that front tonight. And my heart goes out to you too. This is your night. You get to celebrate and dance, and it's well deserved. And we can drive by and see your work each and every day, and that's a beautiful thing. So thank you so much, everybody.
I just wanted, before I get started, to mention 2 people that are here that Sadia had invited, and we had invited, the county had actually invited. First of all, Father Andrew Mahalaris from St. John Greek Orthodox Church. If you want to stand, Father, it's so nice to see you. And if you know much about Sadia, part of how we raised money for the Golden Gate building was, remember the big Moroccan dinner party you had and different things. So believe it or not, we have somebody from the consulate of Morocco in Miami, and it's the Honorable Shafika Habti. If you could see. Thank you so much for coming. It's so exciting. Now we'll get to Sadia. I first met Sadia when we were both appointed to the Historic Preservation Board in 2006, but I met her passion, the Golden Gate building, before I ever knew Sadia. When I first moved to Martin County in 2005, I would ride by this beautiful, dilapidated, but beautiful building, and I'd say, I wonder what that is. It looks like the Roaring 20s, you know, and it was just so gorgeous. And I'd get out and take pictures of it. And I did the same thing with the Stuart Welcome Arch, not knowing what they were. I love this Mediterranean revival style building, even in its state of disrepair, and even before I knew what it was. I learned early when I got on the board that Sadia, like Commissioner Campy said, was determined to save this symbolic structure, and her energy was contagious. She would just get you into it. To help do so, she founded the Friends of the Historic Golden Gate Community, Inc., and was always raising money and support for the building. It was her dream that it be used for her Golden Gate community. Like Martin County, the Golden Gate building, one of our oldest, is 100 years old this year. Its story is intertwined with the history and hopes and dreams of Martin County, and Sadia was the person most responsible for making those dreams come true. Built in 1925 as a real estate office, for the Golden Gate Development Company, it was going to be part of a grand scheme for a very large port that was envisioned. The Stuart Welcome Arch was also part of that dream. These dreams were dashed when a hurricane and the Great Depression hit. The building then went through a number of uses until Martin County saved it from the wrecking ball, and I mean saved it from the wrecking ball, by purchasing it in 2002. Then Sadia, the Friends, Bonnie Landry at Martin County, and others helped get grants to restore it. But restoration did not come easy. Martin County, in the form of Harold Markey and General Services, went to work in 2004 and 2005 to stabilize the building, because it was basically, and Julie will tell you about that, how it was just basically coming outward. In 2006, with Julie Priest's help, it was added to the Martin County Local Register of Historic Places. Still, a number of funding and enthusiasm lapses arose. But through all of them, Sadia was there pushing for the restoration. In 2012 and 2013, the Stuart News chronicled the struggle with editorials, a lot of editorials, entitled, "Still No Plan for the Golden Gate Building. Martin County officials should make restoration of historic Golden Gate building a priority." Another, "Preserving Our History." And yet another, "Residents hoping someone steps in to save the historic Golden Gate building." And finally, "Fate of a historic Golden Gate building still up in the air." So that's we went through a hard time, and Sadia remembers that. Still, Sadia and friends persisted. With help from Julie Priest, applications for the National Register of Historic Places were filed, and after many struggles, which I'm sure Julie will talk about, finally approved. In 2017, the iconic Spanish Mission Mediterranean Revival style building was added to the National Register of Historic Places. It was awarded a Florida Historical Marker in 2018. In 2018, the Golden Gate also got a new lease on life when Martin County leased the building to the House of Hope, who managed the interior finishing and added restrooms and an elevator. By the way, Nikki, are you here? Nikki Norton is, she helped them work on that, and to architecture and design. So it was a joint effort. It became a wonderful enrichment center for the Golden Gate community, and it still is. It is a beacon of hope for adaptive reuse of historic buildings. I think it's a beacon of hope for the nation. If people could see what they do out of this building, it's really amazing. Sadia always knew that this local historic treasure is not only a tie to our history, but a gateway to our future. When you look at the bronze plaques on this historic treasure, remember that they symbolize the energy, capital, and love that has been invested in one of Martin County's most important historic treasures. The board decided that recognizing Sadia's achievements this year, in the year of the centennial, when the Golden Gate building is also 100 years old, was very fitting indeed. It should have come earlier, but here it is, Sadia, and congratulations.
I think plenty of people are going to have a lot to say, Sadia. So first, when I came earlier and I had a chance to walk around the room and see some of the faces, and I look, almost everyone in this room I recognize because many of you have spent hours and hours and hours for Martin County. So it's fitting that we're here in this Elliott Museum, Rob, and you talked about historic preservation. And that comes with this community as a whole working and all the people in it. I see Gail and Julie and Ellen and Nikki Norton and Eula and Jackie Thurlow and Sandra Lippish and Sandra Thurlow. There's so many people in this room that put time, energy, sweat, hard work, and tears to make the community what it is and to celebrate our history. So it's fitting that this year we're celebrating our 100th birthday, and it's a big year. My dad celebrated his 80th birthday. Happy birthday. And then we get to honor one of and Chris, by the way, can I say you look really dapper? It's probably the first time I've seen you in a tie. Might be the last time too. No, but you are the armor. If you've ever seen Chris lugging bricks and mortar, and you never think of a man that's so small could carry so much, right? And I mean that literally and figuratively, because you are the rock behind many, and I know that Sadia, you are always, even though she might keep you in line every once in a while, you are the rock behind her. So thank you for you. And thank you to so many of you for being here to celebrate with Martin County Historic Preservation Month and in this beautiful facility and the support you give to our historic society. So it's you all that make this community such a special place. And talking about for community, so let me talk about Sadia a little bit. I had to write a few notes. So it's certainly an honor and a privilege to be recognizing you, and I agree with Loretta. It's long overdue, but we recognize you every day because you were there on the ground, and I think you need no introduction in this community. You're a fierce advocate, you're a loyal supporter, you're unshakable, and you are known as the godmother of Golden Gate for good reason. Your dedication to the community is absolutely extraordinary. You've poured your heart, your soul, countless days, weeks, years. We're going to keep you on the ground. You're always working to improve the lives around you, and you're relentless. And so your fight to whether it's preserving our history, standing up for what's right, being a mentor to guide, to even mentor me and our next generation in the community. Whether we have to get young folks on bikes in line in Golden Gate, you're and Palm City, you're steadfast, you're unwavering, and you're relentless in your love for Martin County, Golden Gate, and the people of Martin County. Commissioner Campy said it earlier, you're tough as nails, someone who you speak the truth and you speak with passion. Like it or not, you don't back down. You show up again and again and again with purpose and with heart. But beyond your strength, there's a deep, deep warmth from you. We heard about the Moroccan dinners, which are something special. If you ever sat around your dinner table, is probably one of the special moments that we can all count. And not only have you embraced me, but you've embraced my parents, Ed and Connie, like they're your own family. You do it where you make everybody feel so special. So what you're building our community by loving on it, living in it, and you're always lifting up others. So no words can really truly honor you in a way, because we're honoring you every year for everything you do. There's no words that we could capture gratitude, but we're trying tonight to honor you as the Preservationist of the Year, which is a very special honor. You're a person whose legacy is written into the very fabric of Golden Gate and Martin County as a whole, because you don't just fight for the neighborhood. I have the pleasure as District 2 Commissioner of working with you directly in Golden Gate, but you fight in Palm City and Jensen Beach and Hope Sound, and you're on the ground for so many different things, serving on so many boards. So thank you for your strength, your commitment, your love, and your support. Thank you for being the person you are. Thank you, Chris, Josie, and all your family for lending us. You know, they let you work and give your heart and soul. And thank you for being you. I'm so proud to call you a friend and family. And congratulations. I can't think of anyone that's more deserving for Preservationists of the Year.
So I've been on the board for a number of years now. You wouldn't know that by how well I'm presenting tonight, but but since I've been on the board, I've been able to observe and listen to Julie Priest, and I'm just always impressed by what you have to say. And I'd like to introduce you to come up here and say a few words as well.
I recall that my association with CEDIA, began in the early 2000s, starting with our volunteer work to improve our respective neighborhoods. CEDIA had already been at work urging Martin County to purchase the 1925 Golden Gate building from Jane Doggett at a cost of $120,000, $500. For future use as a satellite library and community meeting center. After the Golden Gate building had come close to collapsing due to damage from Hurricanes Francis, Jean, and Wilma in 2004 and 5, the urgency of stabilizing it was a top priority for both the county and the Golden Gate neighborhood. Burt Bender and Associates out of Key West, the highly experienced and respected architectural firm in the historic preservation field, was hired by Martin County to do the historical evaluation and design report. That report provided options for regarding what best practices could be utilized to stabilize the shell of the Golden Gate building to make it watertight while preserving the historic features. Mr. Farrow of the Division of the Historic Resources in Tallahassee provided his opinion. Martin County agreed. And Mr. Lindell, also experienced with historic preservation in Pennsylvania on his own buildings, who was living here at the time, was hired as the contractor. Harold Markey in General Services for Martin County was the project manager. Since I have compiled the research and prepared the application for listing the 1926 Stewart Welcome Center on the National Register of Historic Places, CEDIA, always reaching out to anyone who can assist on behalf of Golden Gate, asked me to get involved. And Harold Markey showed us the interior of the building. That was a bad day. The first viewing was eye-opening because the wood covering the elevated first floor had mostly deteriorated. The rough staircase was missing treads and was barely supported. Lots of the plaster had fallen off the clay tile bricks. The Golden Gate building is composed of truly red clay tile bricks that interlock. It's not your typical CBS construction with cement bricks. All we could safely do was to view the interior by standing outside the doors and looking in. It was by no means safe to walk on that first floor. As the daughter of a building contractor, you can imagine what I thought about the amount of work, materials, and labor that was needed to stabilize and finish the Golden Gate building. Most of you would have considered the interior a horror show. Yet Sadia was unfazed. She instinctively knew it could be done and continued campaigning to make it happen. Research began. The petition was presented to the Historic Preservation Board, and on February 16th, 2006, Sadia's second wish came true. The 1925 Golden Gate building was listed on the Martin County Historic Register. There was no question that the building had to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places in everyone's mind, especially after the structure was stabilized. So the application was sent to Tallahassee in November of 2010. And Mr. Weber from the Division of Historical Resources came to view the building at the invitation of the Friends of the Historic Golden Gate Community, the organization that was established by Sadia. I recall that it was either at the luncheon with Mr. Weber or soon after he informed us that the building was not eligible for consideration because the interior was unfinished. We were stunned because other structures had been listed on the National Register with unfinished interiors. Well, that sad news just added more fuel to Sadia's fire. And the Friends of the Golden Gate community held tours of the building and events to raise funds for the completion of the interior. Commissioner Fielding met with us and expressed his interest in finding a future tenant that would finish the interior. Fortunately, House of Hope came to an agreement with Martin County, and Rob Ranieri's team got the interior completed. Rob, would you please stand? By then, it was 2017. Please remember, we first applied in 2010. And I contacted the Division of Historical Resources to advise them of the completed interior and asked that our application be considered by the National Register Review Board. They told me the application had been lost. And we needed to resubmit in Microsoft Word format. And I had originally used PageMaker software to create the application, just a minor setback. The 2010 application for the National Register of Historic Places was reworked, and we also made application for the Florida Historical Marker. The National Register of Historic Places plaque was unveiled on May 4th, 2018, followed by the unveiling of the Florida Historical Marker on May 11th, 2019. Both markers were issued in 2018. Thanks to Sadia's energy and determination, all of her wishes for the Golden Gate building have come true. And she continues to be an active member of the Golden Gate Neighborhood Advisory Committee that makes recommendations for improvements for all of Golden Gate. Not to mention that she has been a longtime member of the Martin County Redevelopment Board. Sadia Sasfaridis is Golden Gate's guardian angel that never sleeps. Congratulations to my deserving friend, and Chris, her most supported husband. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to be here and to recognize my friend Sadia. So interestingly, kind of looking at past recipients of this award, I've had the privilege to work with many of them as colleagues and to call several of them friends. And I think there's a lot that they all have in common. Each one of them is determined, is a strong advocate, can really shake things up and make things happen. They persevere. They have a vision and they see things maybe that other people don't see in the space. Um, they have, they inspire, they are leaders, and most importantly, I think they have hearts full of love for the community and the people in it. And all of that completely exemplifies Sadia. So our history goes way earlier than my time at House of Hope. It's close to 20 years, I think, at this point. My kids were little, and they're old adults now. And it was we met. I helped organize a neighborhood cleanup in Golden Gate, and as has been mentioned several times tonight, Sadia is the godmother of Golden Gate. So if you're in there doing something, you're doing it with her, or you're following her directions to do it. So we did a couple of cleanups, and she said to me one day, I have this other project and I want to talk to you about getting involved in. And she told me about the building, and, I kind of shrugged and said, well, yeah, if there's a way I can help, I'm happy to help. Well, if you know Sadia, once you give that opening, she's coming in. So that's kind of how it went. And, as they say, it was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. After one of the cleanups, my kids were little. They participated in hundreds of cleanups with me over the years. And we were driving home from Golden Gate, and my son said, Dad, Sadia said she's now our honorary grandmother. So I just kind of shook my head, and he said, can she do that? And I said, Nick, Sadia can do pretty much anything. So yeah, I guess she's your honorary grandmother now. And they've loved that too, from early years of their childhood. So, kind of flash forward many years later, call it, God's hand, call it fate, call it the universe, whatever you believe, but completely not in my life plan. I ended up as the CEO at House of Hope, and was really kind of put in a position to have an impact on the rest of the equation that Sadia had dreamed about and talked about for so many years. I will say I'll give her some credit because she waited till my second day as CEO of House of Hope before she called me and said, so what about my building? And I'm like, man, haven't even been here 48 hours. I don't know. But again, it was one of those things that Martin County was incredibly supportive of the concept and the idea. Several funders stepped up with checkbooks. Nikki was mentioned already as, she offered her services to us to make things happen and to get our plan together. Hooks Construction, I'm pretty sure that project cost him money at the end of the day. I know he didn't make much. So lots of people continue to get involved and to find ways to make it happen. And it really is incredible how it all goes back to, what Sadia had said so many years earlier of what that building should be, what its next, phase of life should offer the community. And she was right about all of it. So not should surprise nobody that knows her. And today I'm proud to say, obviously you all know the building stands, and that's a testament to Sadia and many other people who helped her along the way. But it also stands with a purpose. So House of Hope this year will serve over 900 people with enrichment services. So it's free classes and programs from early learning to programs for seniors and everyone in between, covering health, computers, the arts, education, job skills, on and on. We'll do close to 6,000 services in that building, really all at no cost, helping to elevate people in the community to a higher level, to fill the gaps that might exist in their lives. And it truly does fulfill what Sadia saw and thought and talked about all those many years ago. I'm proud that I was able to be a part of it all. But anything that happens in that building that's positive happens because Sadia saw it when everyone else saw something that should be knocked down or moved out of the way. Sadia saw a beacon and something that could really unite the community and change the community and lift up the community. And she was right on all of it. So I'm very grateful to be here tonight to honor her. Years ago, we crossed away from being friends to family. And so I'm very proud to get a chance to say a few words and recognize her, to be along for this journey. And it really is incredible what she has done, not just with that building, but in the community and in Martin County as a whole. She is a tireless worker, determined to make the world a better place than it was when she got here, and she succeeds every day at that. So thank you, my beautiful friend.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan Corres, and I'm the Director for the Office of Community Development. And I always think it's pretty interesting to be sort of at the end of the program before the main event, if you will, because you wonder to yourself, what is there left to say? I mean, you all might be wondering the same thing, but lucky for us, Sadia has provided us with so much material over the years. This is not a problem. So instead of talking about the Golden Gate Building or the CRA, I'm just going to tell my Sadia story. So we met in the fall of 2016 when Martin County was reorganizing their community redevelopment agency. And a contingent of Martin County folks came to visit Northwood Village in West Palm Beach to look at the redevelopment that was happening there. As fate would have it, I worked for the West Palm Beach CRA, and Northwood Village was one of my CRA districts. So important to note to this story, 2 of the 5 or 6 visitors that day were none other than Julie Priest and Sadia Saftaridis. We spent the better part of a day together, touring, meeting, talking redevelopment, and I learned back then that both of them keep you on your toes because they are very knowledgeable, ask a lot of questions, and offer a lot of insights. And FYI, that has not changed in all these years. So apparently after that visit, unbeknownst to me, Sadia launched a full-scale campaign, I'll call it, to recruit me to work in Martin County in the CRA. She knew from our tour that day that I lived in the county, and she figured that I would be interested in working in the county, in my own community, and to be closer to my family. And she was right on both counts. So meeting Sadia turned out to be a momentous and life-changing experience and occasion for me. And I have since come to know that Sadia has had this effect on many people throughout her life. So during the last 9 years, I've also come to know her passion for her community, past, present, and future. She's been a great source of steadfast support to me personally and to our CRA. We honor her today for her commitment to preserving the past with the dedication that she brings to everything she does. And I know her best through her dedication to her community, as someone said earlier, every day, every year, without stopping, ever, and her hope for and her belief in its future. So well done. Congratulations.
Thanks very much. So I'm the 9th speaker. That means you all have been sitting here quite a long time. I think you all know the acronym probably KISS. I've co-opted it. Keep it short, Spurgeon, and I promise that I will. Even though I have the most important job tonight, I will keep it short. Everyone here tonight is here to support Sadia and historic preservation, and you all deserve the thanks for what you do to preserve what's best in Martin County. As I present this year's Preservationist of the Year award, I'd just like to say how humbled I was to receive this award last year. But it's really more than an award. It's a call to action to continue the vital work of preserving what makes our county the special place it is. Together, we are building a future that celebrates and respects the richness of our past. Now it's my honor and pleasure to present this beautiful sculpture inscribed to Sadia Saftaridis, the 2025 Martin County Preservationist of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. I am deeply honored and humbled to accept the Preservationist of the Year award. To be recognized among so many passionate and dedicated individuals is both incredibly meaningful and profoundly humbling. This award is not just a recognition of my efforts. It's a tribute to the community. And I also share it with everyone in this community. Colleagues, volunteers, and mentor. One of them is Rob Ranieri, that mentor, who have shared in the mission of protecting what connects us to our past. Preservation isn't a solo endeavor. It takes collaboration, passion, I have a lot of it, and often willingness to speak up, which I do, to the quiet voices of history that can't speak for themselves. When I first stepped into this work, it wasn't just about saving an old building or forgotten site. It was about honoring stories of struggle, resilience, beauty, and identity. Every structure we save, every landscape we restore, every archive we protect is a reminder that our history is not just behind us, the foundation we built on. I want to thank Julie Priest. I promised myself not to cry, but I'm going to. Whose support and shared vision have made so much of this work possible. You have been my inspiration, my ally, and sometimes my gentle push forward. Will keep me quiet. Don't say that. An award that often rushes toward the future. Preservation reminds us to pause, to listen, and to remember. We are caretaker of memory. And as long as we continue to preserve with integrity, empathy, and courage, the past will always have a voice and shape in a better future. Thank you again for this incredible honor. I am really grateful, energized, and committed, now more than ever, for this essential work. Finally, I want to thank everyone who took the time to come to share this evening with me. I am truly grateful. I see Father Andrew Maharaj. Thank you. Of St. John Chrysostom of Martin County at Hope Sound, and many members from the church. I love you guys very much, you, my family, and my friends. Also, my sister of the heart, Bedia Salhi. She's wonderful. She always wanted me to put lipstick, and I hear it. And I don't like it. And Ali, Ali is another story. He's my little brother. He's always there for me. For the ones who remember the fundraisers we did with the decorations, the Moroccan setting, that's Ali. Yeah. I mean, when you walk into whatever we are, you feel like you are in Morocco, because that was Ali. Ignore it. That's mine. Rob Ranieri, the boss. We call each other the boss. Actually, you're the boss. Thank you. I mean, I told him about my vision, what I would see in that building. It's just a waste. When I used to drive front of the building before we started this, you see a drug addict coming out of it, or, it's just really horrible. You see drug dealers. I mean, people just struggling. And I'm like, why do I have to drive in the morning and see this? Think, gotta do something about it. I mean, it's the worst thing for me is to walk outside the house to find something really downer. You wanted to have a good day, so the building was not a good day. I remember the hurricanes. I wasn't here during Francis. I was in Maui with my family, with my daughter. And my son-in-law and I, we were watching everything on TV about the hurricane. So I said, no, I'm not staying. I got to go back home because Chris is by himself. I did. To my surprise, I got Jim come after that. I mean, and I'm sitting like, oh God, please don't let that building to fall apart. Soon the hurricane, I took off. I got in the car and I took off and I went to see if the building's still standing there. He said to me, what's wrong with you? You didn't even pay attention to the house. I said, the house is okay. I said, no, the building, that poor building, she talks to me. She really does. I said to him, I think I'm nuts or something. Julie and Ed, priest, I don't know how he put up with us. Yeah, we would not be here. My best friends, Connie and Ed Whitaker. You guys, a lot of people think that I'm friend with you because Stacy, but I know you before Stacy. They don't realize we've been friends a long time ago. Stacy was not, well, she was kind of when she come over or something. My firstborn, Josephine. She's another, nobody stopped her. Commissioner, District 2. Stacy, thank you. You've been a lot of help for me. And my buddy, District 5. Commissioner Ed Campy. Even when he wasn't a commissioner, he used to come over and help me. I will never forget that. You're always there for me. I really appreciate it. Please forgive me if I didn't mention your name. Every one of you is part of my life, and you know who you are. I can be nice, quiet, but boy, don't double cross me because you know what I would do. My mind is set on the Golden Gate building. It have to be done. Don't you think now we really have a heaven in our community? Look, exactly what I pray to God to be, a learning center for people who can afford it. It was one thing I said to Rob, when we started, please, Rob, whatever you do, make it free for everyone. And thank you. He is. Seriously, if I didn't mention your name, and you know that I really appreciate you, and I am truly grateful. My biggest supporter, I'm going to talk about him a little bit. Sometimes he's mad at me, sometimes, and that's Chris. Thank you. I love you. You've always been there for me. You never say no. I mean, he will put up with me even if he doesn't like it, but he's always standing. You always, it's okay, let's do this. Finally, I want to thank every one of you who's here, especially the consulate of Morocco to come all the way. Just so you know, we never met, we just met. So that really, really appreciate it. And it's somebody else who just once in a while I would like to thank too. And that's Don Donaldson. And, and Sarah Wood. They let me get away with a lot of things. You do. You always have my back. Oh, I give him a hard time. I know I do. But it was for the best for. I'm not finished yet. However, I'm still coming back because Golden Gate is not finished yet. One more project. And after that, see ya. El Camino. Now is a plea from my heart. This paper doesn't work for me. Anyway, I'm going to plea with commissioners, the administration, and the people who are sitting here. Digital history is really important. I'll tell you why. I had pictures from what I took, and I put them in a little digital thing and send them around to my family. You have no idea how grateful they are. And we need to keep that lady in the back. We really need it. And I'm going to go force and I'm going to harass you. I'm going to push you. I'm going to see to it that you keep her because she's really useful. And we need Julie and I, we talked about it and it just really broke my heart if he's going to let her go. Hey, I kept, Susan. No, seriously. Everything is digital. With this AR and all that stuff, we need it. We really need it. Why we don't put all our history as digital so we can really enjoy it? Because our grandkids, they're going to appreciate us afterwards. And thank you so much again. I really appreciate the award. I appreciate the honor. And I am so grateful to every one of you here. Thank you.